Okay, guys, here we are. It's fresh off of a Leafs victory, Leafs Habs Wednesday night. I prefer Leafs Habs Saturday night victories for some reason. I don't know, it's something more special to me about that. But anyway, a victory is a victory. Lots to talk about. Fun stuff to talk about in this one. So, you may notice that that Chad's color of his beard has changed. Chad couldn't make it tonight, guys. Prior commitments. But in any case, we've got an extra guest that we'll introduce now very shortly to you.
A very special one.
Yes, indeed. So, with no further ado, let's go. All right. Well, I've got nothing to open up with, so I'm going to open up with our extra. We'll call him our first average Joe. We always talked about we had our real Joe on, and we said we're going to start incorporating some average Joes, friends of ours who are Leafs fans, and I think it's only fitting that our first average Joe be our good buddy Paddy Phillips. Welcome to the show, Paddy.
Thanks, folks. Yeah. It's been, your show's been great so far. So glad to be a part of it.
Oh, thanks, Paddy. So best. Nice to have you on. And you're such a big, Leafs fan like the rest of us. So it's good to have a good homer. We are homers on this channel. So
yeah,
proud.
Well, it's funny because when I met Paddy, I met Paddy through through my wife, really. He went to school with my wife, high school with my wife. And when I met Leslie, she of course found out very quickly that I was a huge Leafs fan, and she's like, "I know a huge Leafs fan." I'm like, "No, you don't. No one's a bigger right? Leafs fan than me." She's like, "No, I think I know a guy who's a bigger Leafs fan than you." And I'm like, "No, you really don't." She's like, "No, you should meet this guy." And then I met Paddy, and I was like, "Yeah, all right, fine."
So, yeah, I got issues.
So it's been a bromance for me and Paddy ever since. We've been talking Leafs for going on almost 10 years now. So this is I guess the next step in my fandom was moving on to a podcast, and of course met Kylie and Chad, who's absent tonight, but we're gonna give Chad a pass on that one. But we got Paddy, so like I said, he's gonna fill some shoes for us.
So puppy on my feet.
And we got a puppy. Holy shit!
Fourth guest. He will not stop. So
what's the dog's name?
That's Kobe.
Kobe. Right.
Kobe. After the late Kobe Bryant. Not after him, but same name, but he was born before that happened.
Love Kobe.
But we love Kobe.
Yeah, love Kobe. Dad, girl, or girl dad, that's what he called himself.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
and you're a girl dad.
Yeah.
You're a girl dad, which is awesome. Definitely. I love that.
You know who was actually in attendance at the game tonight?
Who?
And I'm working on getting a picture. I got a side photo. Nora was one of the cardboard cutouts at the Scotiabank Arena tonight.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta get us a picture. I got a glimpse of her.
Twitter, the Leafs Twitter sent out 4 pictures tonight, and I could see her in the corner along with a couple of her friends. So nice. I'm working on getting the full shot. I am getting the cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
But, she was sick. There. Yeah.
That is awesome, man.
God love her. Because if this was other circumstances, you guys probably would have been there. Well, you would have been there by now anyway, as you probably all would have been. Because you and your father, don't you have a tradition of going up every first game or something every year? Is that right?
Yeah. We've been 15 years straight going to a game. Most are home openers. So this is the first season that we haven't been up, which is sad. But we'll make it up when I'll get back to normal at some time. But
hopefully,
what happened this year?
Home openers.
Tell us what happened.
What's the deal?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Had tickets for Habs home opener, did you?
Yeah. We started our own little tradition too. Well, we hope to. It would have been this year, would have been our third, but it is what it is, right? But that's all we can do.
Someday, guys, we'll plan a group trip, get everybody together, try to figure it out. What an amazing trip that would be if we could all go together, everyone.
Yes, we talked about this before, and I mean, this was before we even really knew each other all that well. And it kind of felt awkward at first, but now it's just like, let's go. If there was if they were having fans tomorrow, I'd be on the way, honestly. Like,
yeah. No, I think with enough advanced planning, we could easily round up, a handful of people.
Yeah,
and we've got some friends with the team, so I think we could manage something
between a few connections that you've got, and we've made a couple too. Yep. So I think we're going to be in good shape to have
I think we're going to have a good trip.
An impressive trip. Well, guys, I think enough Paddy praise. We'll dive into tonight's game. I mean, what an opening, hey? I mean, like seriously. I was blown away, as I always am, because I mean my dad's the first my dad got home from he lives in Nova Scotia most of the time, so he just got back a couple of weeks ago, so he only got out of isolation a few days ago. So it was the first time I've seen him in a while, and he's like, "Oh, let's get together and watch the hockey game." Now he's the guy who turned me on to the Leafs, so it's extra special when I get to watch my dad. So he came over and we watched the game, and he doesn't follow nearly like he used to when I was a kid. I mean, he's at best like a casual fan right now, right? But again, like he knows, the core players and blah blah. So I was just giving him the update prior to the game on how well Matthews is playing and just at how he's playing at a freakishly better level now than he maybe even ever has. And he still doesn't seem like he's still doesn't seem like he's at peak yet for me.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like there's still more there to give, which is scary.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway,
his 200-foot game is absolutely insane.
Oh, I agree. Every portion of the ice, he's just dominant. It doesn't matter where he is.
Like, at what point does he get serious consideration for a Selke Trophy? Maybe when he starts killing penalties, because that's bound to happen.
I've noticed, though, it seemed like tonight they had him out tonight. They had him out tonight, though, those last few minutes, because I was saying, like,
you mean?
Yes, I did. And usually, I know they usually have him out towards the end anyway for that open, the open net or whatever. But I don't know. I was surprised because when I noticed I think Hyman had a really good block there at the end, and I was just oh shit, who was that? And I was just kind of like, panicked for a second because Matthews was on the ice, and that's why I feel like they probably don't have him on the penalty kill, which makes sense.
So responsible.
He should be, though. He should be out all the time. just stay out there the whole game.
The only rationale I can figure for Matthews not killing penalties is because they simply don't need him to. They've got four quality penalty killers there in Mikheyev, Kerfoot, Hyman, Marner. And so if you're gonna use Matthew in meaningful minutes, then why not have him spend 24 minutes trying to score goals instead of trying to keep him at the net? That's the only rationale. Because it's not because he can't. I'm sure.
No.
Because I tell you, there's nobody in the league. There's not one player in the league who's better at lifting a stick than Austin Matthews.
His takeaways. I actually would want to look that up now because me and my stats. But I want to look up who's leading in takeaways right now in the league. Well, he has to be up there.
That play in the corner on the Hyman goal in the defensive zone.
Oh my God!
There's four guys in on the puck. He comes away with the puck, rushes it up. Marner back to Matthews, over to Hyman. That part of his game is I'd like to think he's one of the most well-rounded players in the league. I don't know who I know Connor McDavid is so good, but I just love the guy. He's just amazing.
I don't believe for a minute that McDavid is as good a defensive player as Matthews. I mean, I think McDavid's offensive prowess puts him a step ahead of Matthews in the who's the best player in the world conversation. But I do believe that Matthews' 200-foot game is better than Connor McDavid's. Connor's got that killer speed and elite speed, but we've seen Connor McDavid back check kind of against our team, right? Right. There have been times he could have put that little extra in and broken up a play that cost him the game not so long ago. So I'm all, and I know, like I said, this is a Leafs episode and basically a Leafs podcast, but I mean, you got to give Matthews his due on the defensive play. It's just at another level this year.
Well, and even Marner, blocking those shots and getting in the zone, folks have told me, well, you don't want Marner blocking shots. Well, in the moment, that's what hockey players do. They block shots.
Yeah.
And if you don't want him blocking shots, then don't put him out on the penalty kill. But he's just such a threat out there. Not even when he's got the puck. I think he has other teams second thinking themselves if they're going to make a pass east to west across the zone. Marner has the ability to pick that off, go up on a 2-on-1 or something. It's God, I'm just so proud of the boys. they're playing exceptional, and
they're playing so well.
And they're playing so well outside the areas that they've been critiqued on so much over the years. That the hard work in the zone, like someone mentioned, I think it was TSN or Sportsnet a couple of nights ago, where in the past the Leafs were just crucified in their own zone on the cycle game. No one cycles the puck on Toronto anymore. It's the other way around when the Leafs are in the offensive zone.
It's like they play keep away. Just real quick though, I did look that up in takeaways. Mark Stone currently leads the I don't know how updated this was because the only thing I could find was on Fox Sports, like Fox. But anyway, Mark Stone leads the league right now with 39, and Matthews is tied for 6/7th at 33. 33, yeah.
Mark Stone's really good at that.
Yeah, and he with only 39 though, so there's not that big of a difference. So
correct me if I'm wrong. Stone plays the wing.
I have no idea. I assume he does.
He does.
He's not
I think he does. He's not a centerman, no. So
no.
He must play the wing. Yeah.
Pacioretty would be on center, I think.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I haven't seen Vegas play since last year. I don't pay attention. Right? I don't pay attention to like any of that.
I think last time I seen Vegas play, Babcock got fired.
That's so freaking true, though. That's true.
That's the Vegas game I always remember. That's the Nick Patan backhand, Marc-Andre Fleury save, diving across.
Yeah. He literally
video intro. Right?
Yeah, he Patty Wadded and got Babs fired.
Yeah.
Good job.
Love it.
But yeah, that was so sick. Can we please talk about though Galchenyuk, guys? Like, why do we think? Yes. Are we thinking he was he was obviously I guess we'll say a test? Did he pass or fail?
Oh, he definitely passed.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like especially tonight against his old team, he just had that extra pep in his step, and it was.
Listen, when you can walk away from a game and say that every shift that a player was on the ice, you took notice of him, then they had a hell of a game. And every shift he was on the ice, while he didn't generate a goal, he may as well have 2 or 3 times. Yeah. And that sick little dipsy doodle pass
that he did. Yeah. Oh, I tweeted about it and everything. I was just like, that was beautiful. That's what we need. He's like another Hyman.
Up my list of favorite players on the team, and I mean, I've got a list of favorite players that's about 25 players deep.
Yeah,
right
the entire team.
I mean? So,
I was watching, or sorry, I guess listening to Leafs Lunch a few weeks ago when we first acquired Galchenyuk, and they were saying for him, well, I think it was Mike Johnson. He was saying in order for him to succeed, he needs to play. I guess I don't know much about him in the past, but he was a player who would work really hard and then all of a sudden just kind of disappear. Like his effort was never there, or wasn't always 100%. And he was saying that in order for him to succeed in Toronto, he needs to play at 100% all the time. Like they're not going to give him a chance to screw up. Like he knows that this is probably his last shot. Exactly. And I really think that he knows that. He's been told that. He hears that, and he's making the best of it. And he's doing awesome.
Well, I mean,
he's doing great.
He also knows himself. Not only is it his last shot, but it's his last shot to prove himself right as well. Because
and he knows he's a good player.
Well, if you can't do it playing with John Tavares and William Nylander, then you simply can't do it.
Can't do it. Right? Exactly.
So, I mean, it's not only he got to prove the world wrong. I mean, this is the best line he will ever play on for the rest of his life. I don't care who else he plays with. I mean, he's not going to play on a better line than the one he's on. Ever.
He's not going to get the opportunity like he has right now, and not in a original 6 team. Like it's just
stacked with talent and a cup contender.
Stacked with that, with John Tavares and William Nylander on your wing or on the other wing. So
you know what? In all fairness, he hasn't played with the greatest teams. I know he's been on 7 teams and so many teams. When you throw Arizona in there, you throw Columbus in there. He's been on a lot of really bad teams. Like, give him a chance. Ottawa's another one. Yeah, give him a chance to play with good players. The Leafs were famous decades ago, like in the early 90s, when you'd get a player called up from the St. John's Leafs, like a Brandon Convery or someone like that. They slot him in like scores. They slot him in right on the 4th line and thinking that they succeed. But I found with this new regime that you take a player like Galchenyuk, he's not a 4th line player.
No.
So don't put him there. Don't put those expectations on him. Play him up top.
Give him the chance.
Give him the chance because he's a scorer. So you know what? I really applaud the Leafs. Like if they can make Galchenyuk work, the fact that they were able to first trade for him, which wasn't very difficult, but to bring him down to the Marlies
do what they did, yeah,
redevelop him, like insane. Like not many teams would do that, and they took the proper approach. And I just wonder how it impacts Dubas at the trade deadline. I think he's still going to get that. Yeah.
I feel like with seeing how well Galchenyuk has adjusted and how well he's playing, it almost takes the urgency off that for Dubas. I think now he might still, depending on the whole Freddie situation, we can get into that, but is he looking for a goalie? Like, I feel like he was looking for a winger, but now it's almost like that spot is solidified. But then again, would he rather have somebody up with Matthews and Marner so he can have Hyman back on that third line, which gives us way more depth?
Lines, yeah. And that's the only real argument for another winger right at this point.
Exactly.
It's just to shuffle everybody down one.
But we'd have to lose someone. So, okay, we lose Kerfoot. Okay, so then that third line is still suffering, or the fourth line, wherever you're going to have Kerfoot. There's still a hole somewhere. You know what I mean? So who comes up? Patan? Barabanov was invisible tonight. I mean, I know he tried, but he just didn't mesh.
Well, it goes back to what Paddy was saying too.
What do you do
when you talk about shuffling players up like they did from the baby Leafs back in the day? That's been the problem with Nick Patan since he signed with Toronto. Is that Nick Patan is not a bottom six forward.
He's not though. No.
Right? And has he ever been given a fair shake in any top six in the league? No, he hasn't. So he absolutely serves the AHL their lunch. He does not belong in that league. You watch him in AHL against the Marlies, and you're like, this kid is too good for to be here.
He's a tweener.
Oh, is he ever? He's the definition.
He is, though.
You know, but I mean, every game though that he's played with the Leafs, he's always noticeable. He's always chippy, and he's working hard, and he's in the corners, and he's dusting up in front of the net, and he's making his ability to make a play and to make a pass is at an NHL level. There's no.
I'm actually surprised that Barabanov had the call up and not Patan. That's who I thought I would see tonight when we got the word about Willie. I thought for sure it was going to be Patan.
I thought. For
no,
sure.
I don't know. But I don't know what the situation is right now with the taxi squad. That's probably why maybe Patan is not on the squad right now. Maybe
I didn't think Barabanov was either.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened there.
The other night when they against Calgary, the only forward scratch was actually Adam Brooks. So I didn't think there was any movement in the taxi squad since they came back from out west. But
there was no transactions made, not that I know of.
Seems like there's daily transactions. You know what I mean? Like there's paper money transactions.
Yeah, little things going, but nothing that I noticed today. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
In saying that, guys, worth noting that tonight was Alex Galchenyuk's 10th game as a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yes, so he's now no longer waiver exempt. And his first point, he got an assist on that goal. I don't know if you realize that. Brodie's goal.
That's not his first.
That was Barabanov.
His first Leafs point at least. Yeah, so his first NHL point.
Yeah, we're talking about Galchenyuk. You're talking about Barabanov.
Oh, I thought we were talking about. You just said Barabanov, didn't you?
No.
I don't know.
Galchenyuk.
Sorry.
Come on, wake up.
Okay, sorry. I thought you said Barabanov. I was still 30 seconds behind on that conversation.
No, I was talking about Galchenyuk. He's no longer waiver exempt now at 10 games. So obviously, this is not just a flash in the pan experiment. So
no,
it's going to be interesting to see where this goes going forward with the trade deadline. Because I really fully believe. I mean, we just might as well mention it because it's new news. New Jersey Devils, Islanders made the big trade during the game. So you got Travis Zajac, Kyle Palmieri heading to the island. And while some people are saying the payment wasn't that much for those players, it's a first round draft pick. You know, it's still a heavy price to pay. It's not Igor Korshkov. All right.
No, exactly.
So if by some miracle, was it is going to be a miracle if the suitcase player from 7 teams lands on the Leafs and solidifies a top 6 forward position for Igor Korshkov, then Kyle Dubas is an absolute
genius.
Yeah. GM of the year.
We already know these things. Like Kyle is constantly pulling things out of a hat. So the fact that it's not talked about more. The big problem with Kyle Dubas is that Leafs Nation being as broad as it is long, a lot of the fans are of the old time mentality, and I think that the 38-year-old glasses wearing, never played hockey kid doesn't fly well with
analytics.
I don't. So well, he's the best GM we've ever had, and I will die on that hill. A lot of people still doesn't see him as a legitimate NHL GM, but I don't know how you can look at the resume and that.
Well, most impressive, I think, about that Galchenyuk trade, like typically these reclamation projects, geez, that's a big word. Typically those are made in the summer, like to make one of those mid-season and go through the whole development process of bringing them down to the Marlies and bringing them up and putting them on your top 6.
Yeah.
Like
and
those are not things that happen in season.
Worked. And it worked.
Yeah.
Like,
He's got the other guys going.
But I called it. When they made the trade, everyone's like, "Oh, well, where will he fit? On the fourth line." I'm like, no. You wait and see.
He's going up.
Yeah.
He's
going up in the top 6, and they're gonna try something here. And but the other thing worth noting and worth mentioning is not a lot of while we say, you know, it's odd for a team to take on something like that, especially at this time of the year. There's not a lot of teams who have the ability to put that together in such a short period of time.
Or they have the balls to do that.
Well, that's the other part of it. But I mean, the Leafs have more money spent in player development than anybody else in the league.
It proves that, though. Just, I mean,
but hats off to the player too. He had to put the work in, and they say he put the work in, which was always been part of the knock on Galchenyuk, is that he was a bit of a lackadaisical player, or he didn't have the work ethic, or he didn't want to try, or what all these things you heard out of Montreal, which means nothing to me.
And he proved them wrong tonight, because he did the exact opposite of all those things.
He's been fantastic ever since his first game with the club. So I'm hoping.
But he didn't stop learning how to. He didn't stop knowing how to play hockey. Like maybe it took something like this. I think Yakupov was in that same draft, and he was bad since day one. Was Yakupov in that one? I think that was the draft.
Yep.
With Riley,
Yakupov, Murray,
Riley,
and Galchenyuk.
Yeah.
Yes, Riley. I know that same one. Yeah. Noah Hannafin.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, good on the player because.
No.
I don't know.
No, wouldn't Hannafin. Sorry.
No, he's younger, I think.
Yeah. Who's that?
Yeah,
I said Noah Hannafin, but Hannafin wasn't in that draft.
No, Hannafin was.
No, he's younger.
Marner.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So he's younger. Yeah.
There was somebody else.
I remember in that draft, and years afterwards, the Leafs were getting beat up for taking Marner over the much better defenseman Hannafin. Well, like. It's amazing, like Don Cherry, all the pundits are saying, "Geez, maybe the Leafs should have taken when the Leafs were not as great on defense as last year. Maybe they should have went and got Hannafin." But I like Marner. It's just
he's special.
Don Cherry also thought we should have took Brent Ritchie over Nylander.
There was also a conversation that Laine was better than Matthews, and he's like pointless in his last 7 or 8 games. So there's always people who are going to say, you know what I mean? Like
Matthews draft,
whatever.
It's worth noting that the top 3 players in the Matthews draft, 2 of them are already on different teams.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah, because they switched.
That'll tell you everything you need to know about how those other 2 guys have been doing. So,
and I can see Laine getting traded by Monday. Wouldn't surprise me.
I said to Adam,
who wants him? Who wants
listen, can you imagine him on the line with Matthews and Marner? Get this. Listen for 1 second. This is totally crazy. I'm going to be an armchair GM for a second. I don't know who they trade or what they would do, but I looked up his cap hit. Winnipeg's already retaining. He's paid 7.25 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Winnipeg's already retaining $2.5 million or whatever it is. So Columbus is only paying him $5 million. Freddie is $5 million. What if Freddie goes on LTIR and then they do some kind of Jimmy Jim and then we get Paddy Laine for like half of that or even a percentage of that?
Well, I'm surprised they haven't put Freddie on.
I don't understand.
Because I thought of it the LTIR as well. I'm afraid
something's happening with that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
there's something you needn't worry. Brandon Pridham is looking at that
He's
situation.
Working something.
And there's a reason why Freddie. There's some kind of little nitpicky thing in the collective bargaining agreement that will save the Leafs $20 if they waits till the last minute or something stupid.
I also think too, though, I was listening to Leafs Lunch again today. I'm always listening to it. They were saying too, if we had Freddie already on LTIR, that means that he's out for at least 10 games or 24 days, I think it is. Right. So by putting him on they can retroactively do it, but by putting him on LTIR now is telling other teams and other GMs that, hey, we're in need of a goalie. So then all of a sudden the price for someone like, I don't know, David Riddick or the other guy, what's the guy's name? Oh my God. Oh, Mark. Dubnyk, whoever. That's another one. All of a sudden, the price for him goes from, I don't know, a second round pick to a first round pick because, oh, you need a goalie. Say what? And then that's what they do. So I'm wondering if they're waiting for literally 5 minutes after the trade deadline to retroactively put Freddie on LTIR. And then all of a sudden, all that cap hit.
They can't wait till after the deadline.
They have to do it before.
It had to be before.
Or what? Yeah, maybe like 5 minutes before and then make the trade.
Because the thing is, and what a lot of people don't know, I'm sure you too.
There's something happening.
You can go in. You need to be under the cap going into the playoffs. That's the rule.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. The minute the playoff starts, just like Montreal is going to do, they're going to activate Brendan Gallagher.
Take them off. Yes, right? You take them off LTIR.
As soon as the playoffs start, they'll activate Freddie Anderson. But until then, they can use Freddie's $5 million to get a $5 million player, like you pointed out earlier with the Laine situation.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd want Patrick Laine, but
no, but I'm just that's just for argument's sake. It could
happen.
Say
I wouldn't. It seems stupid to say I wouldn't.
I'd take him over Taylor Hall.
I don't know. I don't like his attitude.
Yeah, I would.
Paddy?
I don't like Paddy. No, well, either way, if Paddy or Taylor came, they would only be here for like as a rental, I guess, because they definitely wouldn't sign. We don't have the money to sign them.
Hang on, miss. Wait now.
Okay, listen to me.
Let's back the bus up here for a second.
Okay.
All right. You said, and we have it on record, that you would take
say it again
over Taylor Hall. Paddy,
I would.
What is your take?
I don't like
that comment.
No, I don't think so. I listen. Everybody's dumping on Taylor Hall, depending on what the price was. And you're putting him on a line with Tavares and Nylander. Like, again, that guy didn't, like, he's been in New Jersey, which the fact that he won a Hart Trophy in New Jersey is amazing.
Yeah.
And then he goes out.
He's a superstar.
The reason why he got traded was New Jersey underperformed the following year. So they wanted to unload contracts. They're not a rich team.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes to Arizona where everybody dies.
Yeah.
He goes to Buffalo.
Where everybody dies from Arizona. They die there.
He's been with crappy teams, and he's not the guy. Like, he's not going to be the guy who's going to take a bad team out of the cellar. He's a role player. Like, he's like a Patrick Kane to Jonathan Taves. That's probably a bad comparison, but he's not the guy that's going to take a team and just go. But you put him on a line with Tavares and Nylander, I'm telling you, depending on what that price is, I'm giving it a shot. Now, I'd love to see. When we can go back to Hall and Laine for a second, but I personally want to see a package of Savard and Foligno.
Yeah, that'd be nice too.
Yeah, but with that. Everybody's dumping on Hall, and I'm like, I don't want Laine.
I don't like Laine's. I don't like his personality. I don't. No. He seems like a child, like you do. But
the Savard Foligno deal, where does Foligno fit in the lineup? Does he bump someone out of our top 6 currently as of today?
I think he's in your
winger.
Yeah, he can play center, but I think he'd land on your 3rd or 4th line. Depending on it, because I think Galchenyuk would have the speed. I actually worry a little bit about Thornton.
Me too.
If he could last on a playoff run, he looks
tired right now.
He just looks slow, but because he's always been slow, but I find his decision making is not like tossing pucks east to west instead of going north to south. And I'm like, I don't know. I worry a little bit there. I think they can slot him anywhere. Great on the penalty kill. Like, I'd love to have Nick Foligno. You bring in another captain into the dressing room.
More leadership.
My priority, though, would be another defenseman. And I don't mean like your traditional 6 or 7 defenseman the Leafs would go after. I'd like to go after Savard. I just don't know who you'd bump out. I think would have to be probably Dermott, although he's been amazing.
We guys got to be Dermott.
Yeah, like Bogosian's just you need that guy in the playoffs.
I mean, how many bad games have Bogosian had since they signed him? 2?
Not many.
And even in bad games, can you even call them bad games when you've had guys like Brett Lebda on your team? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. He was taking like the penalties he were taking early in the season was a little bit too much, but the fact that he's rushing the puck and he's like built like a brick, you know why?
Yeah.
Like great transaction, but my fear is that after your top 6, one of those guys get hurt. Is it Sandin? Is that your first guy you put in who hasn't played in the NHL this year? Really?
He's injured, or I think he just started skating again a couple days ago.
Like I don't really trust Sandin, Liljegren, or Rosen to go into that top 6.
No, I agree.
That's what shocked me when they traded Lettinen. I was like, he's your number 7. You just traded away the only depth you got, like the only what you would consider what you've proven to have to be capable depth this year. They haven't tested anybody else.
We forgot about Eminem.
No, we don't.
We're not going
Don't
there.
say his name 3 times.
We don't
please.
say his name on this channel. Yeah, say his name 3 times and it appears.
He ends up on the taxi squad if you say his name. He's already there, actually. I don't think he's played any games with the Marlies or any games with the Leafs. He's just in no man's land. So,
yeah, but getting paid for it. What a job.
Ain't that the truth? Imagine having that gig. I know it's not what he dreamed about having, but it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine. But I really, really like Nick Foligno.
Such a rough, tough-nosed player, right? Oh,
yeah,
I know.
And he can play.
And he can still play hockey. This is the thing, right?
Yeah.
He's a better version of Wayne Simmons currently, and I love Wayne Simmons. So,
like to get that package is probably going to be your first, which you know what?
Oh, gee, yeah.
Take it. Yeah, we don't need any right now.
And a B-level prospect, I think.
Yeah.
Someone like a Callie Rosen or
when you look at Lamoriello, God love him, just set the price for that package. Right?
He did, yeah.
So the price for that package is a first and a third or a fourth pick, something like that, conditional, blah blah blah, and a couple of names that may or may not turn into something. Philip Hoglander, we just traded a Korshkov. One of these guys. You're not losing one of your top prospects in that deal.
I don't want to lose Amirov or Amirov. Everyone.
I don't think you'll lose him.
No,
you won't lose him for a rental. I don't think.
No, I really do think he's going to pan out to be something special, I think. There's another guy that we have too that starts with an A, Abramov and Amirov. Yeah. I'm not sure where he lies, like in regards to the chopping block. So there are a couple
top 50 Leafs prospects depth chart I seen the other day. Some average Joe, like we're doing here tonight, had on Twitter. And I read down to it, and it was pretty well bang on. They had Abramov.
Oh, I seen that.
Top 10. And I was like, I read down below him. I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty accurate. And the guy obviously put a lot of time into it. And I wish I would have took a screen grab of it now because it's a conversation piece, if nothing else. But they had him fairly well up there because at the end of the day, the Leafs cupboard is not exactly fully stocked. Our prospects are all playing with the team because they've been good since they were 12.
You know what? That drives me crazy. And I listen to some of these like Craig Button and all these guys talking about when they do their prospect reviews of who's in the system and they're raving about Ottawa and the Leafs are down the charts. I'm thinking, okay, well, all the Leafs guys, the top guys are under 25. They've all blossomed. They really haven't had a bad first round pick in many years. All of them have worked out. Ottawa should have a full cupboard because they've been so bad for so many years.
Ottawa's where we were to in 2015 and we had a full cupboard.
Yeah.
And now our full cupboard translated into a playoff contending team. So here we are.
I'll take it.
And I still don't think we're in bad shape from a prospect perspective. To grab Nick Robertson in the second round.
I know.
Forgot about him.
Right?
And I mean, Rob, you could literally he can lace up his skates and play tomorrow. Injury aside, but in the NHL, like he's ready to go. If you ask me.
He'll be your depth he'll be in the bottom 6 for the playoffs. He'll be on that Texas squad.
When we're thinking about like an extra forward, I mean, how come he never comes to mind? Why are we still trying to? Yeah, that's true. Is he skating? Anybody know?
He's back. I think he's
playing right now. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, good. So
you look at the trades. You look at the trades the Leafs made with the Kings when they gave up. I think Jersey and those guys for Muzzin and then Campbell and Clifford last year.
And then we lost Trevor Moore.
Yeah, but some of these guys trades. Like they were B-level prospects that I don't think they may pan out for LA, but the return for the Leafs, like you get Jack Campbell and you get Muzzin and they're integral.
You're not
MVPs.
What I told one of my buddies the other day, you're not trading one of your A prospects unless you're getting like a Philip Forsberg in return.
Yeah.
You're getting a young stud coming back the other way. You're not getting someone who's a 1-year rental or someone who's approaching 30 years old.
Dubas is not doing that for a rental.
No. Well, the thing is too, the beauty is while we all salivate over players like Forsberg and Hall, if the price is super high, like ridiculously high, we simply don't need that. That's one of those nice to have options. There are lots of teams going to the playoffs who need that. We don't necessarily need that. However, I'd rather Taylor Hall land on the Leafs than on the Oilers. That's the other aspect of it. If you don't get them, somebody you're going to play against is.
Yeah.
So if it costs a first-round draft pick and something else, I'm fine with it. I mean, this is the time to go all in. I don't care if we got another first-round draft pick for the next 5 years. I'm okay with that. That's where we are in the system for the first time in my fandom, you know. So trade it all. Go for it, Kyle.
Let's go. Yeah,
like Robertson and Sandin are my untouchables for rentals. Like Amaral, nobody, when the Leafs drafted him last year, nobody even heard of him.
Nobody knew about him.
We're kind of overvaluing him now as we watch more YouTube videos of him.
Yeah.
So I'm fine trading him. I don't put him in the same level of Sandin and Robertson, and it's more of the unknown that we don't really know a lot about him. If he can play over this way, I just think there's so much upside of getting like a Foligno. I think he does so much for you. He'd be at the top of my list, but I'd be totally fine with Taylor Hall. I just don't know if that's the player they want. Yeah.
I feel like there is something going to happen. I just don't know what. And I feel like it's going to involve Kerfoot. So
I don't know. I don't think you're getting rid of anyone off the team.
I hope they don't. I think the team is fine the way it is. Like, yes, of course we could use backup, but I mean, honestly, and I don't mean backup goalie, I just mean, depth, but it could, I think it's good as it is, honestly. If there's nothing done, I'll be okay.
The only player I see moving it would be Engvall. I could see
Engvall or Kerfoot,
and that would be not because
we
need to get rid of him. And not because of the money with him. He's only at a buck and a quarter, but just for the roster spot alone, just to free up a space so that everybody shifts down one, but no one actually falls out of the lineup. Because everybody else who's on the team, because right now, if you added one extra forward to the team, which forward gets bumped off the roster? Engvall, right? Yeah. So he would be the obvious choice to trade, such that there's no one who falls off the roster except for the guy you traded out. So that's the only guy I see as a faux show roster player to go. I understand your theory on the Kerfoot money in, money out thing. Makes sense if that's something got to happen. I think Dubas is way too shifty to even worry about money.
So,
I don't think he's trading anyone off his roster.
I think he's going to shock us with some kind of little loophole, circumvention, whatever you call it. Something's going to happen, and we're all just going to be like,
it's going to be something. It's not going to be. This is the thing. We're all talking Taylor Hall. We're all talking Foligno. We're talking Forsberg.
I don't mean like superstars. He's just going to do something.
But it's not going to be any of those guys because that's not Dubas. It's going to be something we're going to be like, who?
Someone that we're going to be like, yeah. It's going to be like somebody from, I don't know, Arizona or some team that we don't even really know, or at least I don't really know. And yeah, like you said, who? Like when we got Muzzin or when we got Campbell, it's like, who? Yeah. Literally, I had to go Google them. Like, I don't know those players, but
I think this is the point in the show too. Where we give our daily love to TJ Brodie and go.
Yes, go. First goal, yay! I was so happy. I could have, I really wish it would have been last game because of Calgary, but it was awesome. Way to go, TJ! Just like he did it as a kid in the Scotiabank Arena. Or was it? Yeah, I guess it was ACC back then. But same thing, little snipe, top cheese. I guess it was top cheese. I can't remember where he put it, but it was awesome. It was good.
You know what? I laughed today because his patent move in trying to block a pass going cross ice, like on a 2-on-1 or something, is one leg on the ice, one knee a little bit up, and the stick is just flush to the ice. Yeah. So he's patented it. And I saw Muzzin starting to do it tonight. And
Riley did it on the 2-on-1.
He's mastered it, like picking off passes across ice. I don't care if he ever scores. I'm glad he did. But
he prevents them.
You know what?
He prevents goals, and that's what we need.
Like everybody wanted Pietrangelo. No. And I still would have loved to have him, but you imagine we got a TJ Brodie, and then all the other players that came with it, Thornton and Simmons, and go down the line that we were able to get, and Bogosian
for the price of one Pietrangelo, right?
Yeah,
it's no.
I'll take TJ Brodie really any day.
Yeah.
We don't need another offensive defenseman like Tyson Barrie.
I really
or even Riley. Really, like we have him.
There was a comment made a couple of games ago. One of the analysts said that that Keefe had referred to TJ Brodie as a polished defenseman, someone whose game is mature and refined and is exactly where it should be. And it really is. I mean, shift in, shift out. Like he's in the right spot. He's not panicky. He's never ever lets his man get behind him. Like that's the one thing I always noticed about like Riley. Like even the goal that Perry scored tonight, the first one, I was like, or the second one, sorry. I was like, oh, Riley, and it wasn't even his fault because he came across from the other side. I know you can't be everywhere, but I was like, oh, if he just wasn't behind you, it wouldn't look so bad, you know?
Yeah. Brodie has more attention to detail.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, his decision making is just unmatchable, honestly. Like he just knows the right times to do the belly dive or just the knee or just the stick or just the he did it one time like I think it was the second period or towards the end of the second period, maybe beginning of the third period there. He pretty much stopped a goal by doing that. What you were saying, Paddy, down on his knee with a stick out. Like
it's so funny because a lot of coaches will say, don't do that. Because the minute that you lay out on your belly, you're out of the play. If you miss, it's over.
Oh, you're done.
Right?
Yeah.
But his success rate so far this season is 100%.
100%. No, I think there was one time it might have backfired on him. One time, I feel like there was one time it did, and I was just like, oh damn. It's almost like I can picture him on his stomach away from the play, and it was just like one of those things. But I feel like I need to find it and show you because it definitely happened. But if he did, it was once.
I'll take your
that was it. Once. Other than that, he's 99.99999% of the time.
Yeah. What I'm been most impressed with the Leafs defense this year is that like they dominated in the defensive zone, McDavid and Draisaitl. There hasn't been one star that has dominated the Leafs this year. That's been that thorn in the side that always comes in. Like you look back over history, like Lemieux and Yager and Gretzky, and you look at how many points they've scored against the other teams, and geez, the Leafs are always up there that they've scored the most points against.
Yeah.
But like the Stars are not just like Hall and Muzzin have been amazing against the Stars. It's been a real group effort, I gotta say. Like I can't recall one game where they were dominated. Like they've shut down Winnipeg. You know what? I'm not. There's not one team in that division that I'm afraid of.
No, I'm not either. It just almost makes me worried for when we do get out of that division, or if we get out of that division. Like, is it going to be a big reality smack like everybody in other divisions are saying it's going to be? But I don't think it is. Well, you look at the point totals. It's not that much different. I think when I looked last night or the night before, we were third in the entire league, and it was only because I forget who it was ahead of us because they had extra games in hand or something. I forget now. But
newsflash, we are in first place now, aren't we? In the league?
Probably. Like I wouldn't be surprised. Let's do it.
57 points. We're ahead of Colorado by 1. So if you're worried about what happens when we get out of this situation,
I'm not worried.
You've got to face teams like Colorado, which is really the only formidable opponent that I'm actually legitimately concerned about. The Florida Panthers, which I don't know how they're as good as they are. The Hurricanes.
Flag gone.
I don't know how to do it.
What are you doing?
Colorado's the only one that scares me.
Wait, how do I turn my hand? I'm nuts. 57, first in the league. Do you see that? Look at that. Look at that, YouTube.
In all of our dissecting of the game, we missed the fact our team is the first in the league.
Yeah.
At least until the rest of the games finish tonight. That could be switched around again. But hey, I mean, if the fact of the matter is, if you continue to win every game you play, you're probably going to end up first in the league. Which brings me to point number whatever we're on here this evening, Jack Campbell.
Yes.
We'd be remiss if we didn't. It's actually pitiful that we've taken this long into the podcast to mention
even say his name.
I mean, Jack Campbell.
I don't think we've said his name.
And that's just plain rude. Maybe we should just delete this shit and start over because.
Can you let's talk about it now? You can edit it and put it in the beginning.
Welcome to episode 11, folks, of Geeks Night Silly Podcast. With your host, Colin Murren, and normally Chad, but we don't have him tonight. And our average Joe guest. Yeah, so Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell set a record, which I don't want to say is unbreakable because he just broke it, but it's going to be a while.
Not easy.
Yeah,
it's going to be a while. That name is going to be there for a long time, and he's not necessarily done yet.
No,
we're playing the worst team in the league.
In those 10 games,
they always play like crap against them.
in those 10 games I just read, he's only let in 3 goals twice. He's had 2 shutouts. Everything else has been 1 or 2 goals. So I don't know if you caught the interview at the end of the game, but he started choking up when he talked about his teammates.
I was just going to bring it up. Honest to God, seeing when Marner went up to him and he was counting. Did you see that, Paddy?
I got to share it on Facebook already.
Do you? I was literally, Adam was inputting Ben to bed, and I'm just like, you got to come out. You got to come see this. I'm like rewinding the TV like a nut job, half on a cry, because I'm like, that was the sweetest thing. And then he choked up almost when he was answering the question about it. It was like, oh, it was so sweet.
Oh gosh, you're getting me now.
But it's like, it's just, I don't know if you guys know. Well, I know you know his story, but I'm subscribed to The Athletic. If you're not, it's excellent. I don't know. It's so worth the $1 a month or whatever it is.
Almost as good as the Deke Snipe Silly podcast, but go ahead.
Almost. They should totally sponsor us, but they had a good thing. They had a good thing on there last week about Jack Campbell. So if you are subscribed and you haven't read it yet, go read it. Pretty much all about his journey to where he is now, essentially. Like Cole's Notes version, this kid is like, went as far as, he was supposed to be the next goalie, with the U.S. World Juniors with the U.S. team, all the different U.S. development programs, you name it, he was there and he excelled. And then he didn't make Dallas right out of training camp that first year and was devastated. And I think it was kind of like a snowball effect from there. And then when he finally did get the chance, he didn't do that great. He ended up getting like sent down to the ECHL at one point and everything. Anyway, just look where he is now. Like, it's just, he had a goalie coach who got hired in LA who got hired in LA the year before he got traded to LA. I can't remember his last name, but I know his first name was this guy, Dusty. Anyway,
Takarsky.
Yes, he was like the goalie in his country. Like, I'm not sure exactly where he was from, but no, I think he's like Japan or like China.
Oh,
like
no, not Takarsky. I know who you're talking about.
No, it's not Takarsky. It's Dusty. Anyway, but he's of like some kind of Asian or whatever descent, whether it be Chinese or I'm not sure. But he was like the best goalie over there. Anyway, he was the goalie coach in LA who took kind of Campbell under his wing. And you know how Jack is very athletic, like he's rolling around the net. Anyway, apparently he did that times 20 before and kind of just got him to calm down in his crease. You don't need to be so extravagant in your saves. Anyway, just, got him to simmer down a little. And that's what he even mentioned him tonight in that interview. He's like, I got to even thank my LA team because they didn't give up on me. And they didn't. And now look where he is. And it's just such a lovely story. Oh, I cry.
So amazing.
It's sweet.
We talk about this because we podcast roughly, I guess, every 3 games ish or so. So we started off back when Campbell had a shutout, and we're like, okay, yeah, Campbell had a shutout. Whoop-de-doo, that's great news. And Hutchinson had a shutout. So the Campbell thing wasn't even news. Then Campbell won another one, and he won another one, and we had a podcast, and it's like, Campbell won 3 in a row. Do you think he could replace Freddie? We're like, no, sample size. So then we podcasted again a little while later, and he has 7. We're like, could he be the starter for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Like, no. I'd like to see him do it on an extended period. We're now at 10 games in a row. He has not lost one yet. His save percentage is top in the league. His goals against average is there.
I have to look.
Like at what
30 something?
Yeah.
120 something, I think.
Oh, wait.
He's there. Let me get in the lead.
I'm just trying to look up his do you know what it is right there? His save percentage. It's definitely top notch right now.
8th in the league right now, and he got 2 goalies ahead of him who only played 1 game.
Wow. And his save percentage is .944.
944 save percentage.
And his goal against is 1.53 on this website. Now I don't know how updated it is. It says 9 games played, so it's not updated for tonight.
Goals against
5 games ago.
Third.
5 games ago, I would say he could take over the net. And if the Leafs got to make a decision, and I know this is going off sides a little bit, but if the Leafs got to make a decision in the offseason to sign Hyman or Anderson, I think Jack Campbell was.
Yeah, sorry, Freddie.
Like it's other than Hyman just playing lights out, and like you got to sign the guy.
Yeah,
I think Jack Campbell is eased at that pain for Dubas making that decision.
Yep.
It's really funny too, because like Chad is our voice of reason when it comes to Freddie Anderson, because Chad got the goalie background. He really enjoys that aspect of the game. He's a huge Freddie fan. And again, go back 2 podcasts ago, I raised the question: who do you sign, Hyman or Anderson? And me and Kylie were kind of on the fence, and Chad was like, "No, Anderson, you gotta stick with the number one. You can't. That's not growing on trees." Fast forward the podcast, I posed the same question again. Who's it?
Yeah.
So me and Kylie are hard Hyman's in, and Chad's like, "Oh, it's not so easy anymore. I'm kind of on the fence."
Yeah.
And now fast forward here now, and it's not even a question right now for me.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, Freddie.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Freddie, but I did want to throw out there. I read the other day, I think it was Darren Dreger might have said it, that Hyman will apparently, according to sources, he will gladly take a hometown discount to stay.
If there's anyone that's going to do it, it's going to be him.
Yeah, I said that too. I actually said that when we first brought up this discussion, like
I hate
many podcasts ago. But
I hate to be that guy, but isn't it so unfortunate that a guy like Hyman is the guy who got to take it?
I know.
He's the guy who does, though. Did you guys see the blurb that money. I think I might have already mentioned this, but did you see the blurb that Jerry D said about him? Did I already ask you this? Yeah.
He was like the 15th player.
They said he wasn't going to make the team, or he only made the team because his dad was a coach and blah, blah, blah. And it was just, he was always the hardest working kid, and he still is. And
if he don't get traded, if he don't get traded from Florida to Toronto, I don't think he is where he is right now.
No.
I'm just a firm believer, but like with Freddie, the problem I have is like Calgary are going to be in a world of hurt now because they've got this big contract with Markstrom. And I don't want to pen it all on one season, but you're giving all that money out to a guy he's 31 or 32, Markstrom, pretty close to it. Like you better be sure that he's going to be your top goalie. And like I've never, in all my years of watching hockey, I've never seen the goalie fraternity be so weak where a lot of teams their number one goalies, I would classify them 5 years ago as backup goalies.
Yeah.
Like how many true number ones are out there? Vasilevsky and Hellebuck in a league of their own.
Yeah.
But then it drops off significantly, and there's not a ton coming up. Even Carter Hart is having a rough year. So
he's struggling.
If Anderson is expecting 5-year money, I'm not even touching it.
No.
It's and I don't care about the money as much, even though it's important. It's 3 years or less. If he wants to sign a contract for 3 years, $5 million today, then the Leafs are probably going to sign him.
But they won't see Paddy because
not if Campbell though.
Campbell's played too well. Campbell has
$5
played
million
Freddie
to your backup, essentially.
Campbell has played Freddie into a cheaper contract. That's
literally
every time Campbell steps on the ice now, he's costing Freddie Anderson money.
Oh, listen, I don't want him to side Freddie, and I'm not dumping on him because since he's been there, this is only the season where like you can't rely on him. In previous seasons, he's been our MVP.
He's been our rock.
Team,
But you know what? I've been a Leaf fan for too long, let down so many times that I'm not about to be loyal. I don't care who's in net to win the cup.
Yeah, just someone to stop the damn puck. Yeah, like as much as
Marner.
We all love
Strap
Freddie.
Some pads on Marner for overtime.
Literally, I said that. I would trust him over Hutch. I would honestly trust him over Freddie some days because Freddie here lately is not Freddie. And I don't. No. I always said Freddie's issue is between his 2 ears, and I still believe that it is because goalies more than anybody can get in their own heads, and then they completely mess themselves up. And I think honestly, all that's wrong with Freddie right now, on top of whatever's going on, is a bruised ego. Yeah. Now, especially with Campbell doing so good, how can you be happy for your buddy and your team knowing that it's essentially your freaking job?
Well,
right? Like that's got to be messing with his head. And he's reading shit on Twitter and seeing this stuff on TV, just like me and you, or we all are. And it's like, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen.
I wonder the impact, though, and I think Matthews and Marner and these guys are probably above this, but because Matthews is such a good friend, I don't think that would, if Anderson were to go or not sign back, I don't think that would get the better of Matthews. Like I don't think it would impact him because he's just so good. That's not my only thought. Like I've got it, and it's not the fact that Campbell's won 10 games. Like and I'm not a goalie. I've never been a goalie, but I just think he's like you don't let that bad goal in. He never lets that bad one in. Loved Reimer, but he always let that bad one in, and I'm like.
Bernier, same
Kills
thing.
the
Yeah,
team.
Bernier, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Costa
even
put on the line.
McElhaney, like even McElhaney did that. There was always just
Yeah.
that was one squeaker, right? Like, oh God, just and I feel like with Campbell, he hasn't shown us any of those weaknesses. Like
No.
he hasn't really had any goals scored on him that was like he should have had it.
Yeah.
Like maybe the one tonight, but I mean I think was it Perry that scored that one? He was left alone in front of net. The first goal, who scored the first one? Perry?
Perry. Yeah.
Yeah. He was just left alone in front of net. I mean,
yeah, that's a tough one. And I feel bad because now some of the saves he makes, I'm thinking, oh my God, I think that would have went in on Freddie.
Yes, I said that the couple
I feel
games ago, and
bad,
he done the double stacked pad stop. I was like,
Yeah.
that was in. If that was Freddie, that was in, because Freddie would have tried to do cross crease slide, and it would never got there in time, and it would have been in.
Yeah.
What do you do? I think we go with Campbell, and
Listen, I'll tell you
it's
one
his
thing.
crease until
It's a
he
good problem
loses.
to have, because
It
this
is.
could be a far different problem if
Yeah.
Freddie was hurt and we didn't have Jack Campbell and all you had was Michael Hutchison, who,
Yeah.
by the way, has not been terrible. People just can't
No.
shake last year. He's for a number 3 goalie, he has far exceeded my expectations, let me tell you. So, but no, great problem to have, and I'm so stoked. I'm so happy for him and happy for the team, and I think not enough is being made of just how important Jack Campbell is to the team outside of his playing and winning. He's I don't want to say he's the glue that holds the team together. He's not that important to the team, but right now, with him being the focal point and him being such a great personality, I think that he's driving the team to want to win for him, and they're playing well for him because
they are. Just seeing the way that they react after the games, like I said, seeing Marner going up to him and Matthews went up to him. Well, they all went up to him, but I mean they do that to Freddie too. But it's just, I don't know. There's a different feeling about it. There's a different urgency.
They've got some good dressing room. Like I can't imagine there's
love to be a fly on the wall.
I can't think of one bad person, one bad guy in that dressing room, and I fear if you were to add a line A or something like that, I think now at the same time I think a Thornton and a Spets and some of these other guys would put him in his place pretty quick.
Like,
I
listen
don't
here,
think
buddy.
That would happen.
You might be new coming in here, but this is not how it works, or whatever the case may be. Ryan, I think it's time we play Yes By No By.
Yes By No By. Paddy, you familiar?
Not exactly.
Okay,
so that means I've watched all your shows.
It's a segment that we've rolled
out.
I introduced the segment anyway for people who, because not everybody, if this is your first time watching the Deke Snipe Silly podcast, then shame on you. Go back and watch some more, because while this is a good episode and there's lots to be taken away, there's some even better ones. Some of our guest episodes are pretty mind-blowing shit. So make sure you scroll back through and check out the Theo Fleury, Joe Bowen, Dr. Charles Tatter episodes. I mean, just great guests with so much to offer, and we're so grateful to have. But this is a segment that Ms. Murren came up with all of her own accord, and I love it. And we rolled it out once before, and it's gotten some great feedback from our listeners. Certainly, interestingly enough, I've had a couple of messages from people who aren't Newfies who thought it was hilarious. So
really, that's good.
Yeah, Yes By No By is first of all, Yes By is a famous Newfoundland term. If you didn't get it by now, we're all from Newfoundland, proud Newfoundlanders, and one of our most well-known phrases around the world is Yes By, and Yes By is more or less how we're going to use it tonight. Means yes sir, or just the affirmative. Now in Newfoundland, Yes By means a ton of things, and just look down at the bottom right there. I got a definition rolling across there. It can mean a whole bunch of things. It can mean yes, it can mean no, it can mean you're full of shit, it can mean I'm so happy for you. There's a whole bunch of things. For the purpose of you guys who don't keep up with Newfoundlandese that well, today it means yes sir. So
or no.
In Yes By No By, I throw out basically hot takes. I throw out a couple of statements, and I leave it up to my two counterparts here to say yes by or no by, and then elaborate. So I'll start off. You can jump in wherever you like, but I want to say, Galchenyuk. After the trade deadline, he's still on the left wing as our second line left winger. Yes by.
Yes
no by.
Yes by.
I'm going to say yes by, because I think you're going to get Foligno and he's going to end up on the third or fourth line.
right.
Putting that thought out there. Hey, Paddy.
If you say it enough,
put it
Paddy,
out there,
it might just come true.
Exactly.
Just like when I was saying, oh, please, Brad Richards, sign in Toronto. Please, Rick Nash, sign in Toronto. Please, Steven Stamkos, sign in Toronto. And
you can't, it doesn't work for you. So maybe it might work for Paddy.
No.
So a quick tidbit. My manager at the bank, her first cousin is Nick Foligno. Her uncle is Mike Foligno.
Shut up.
Swear to God.
Get him on our show.
WTF, when you're going to tell us that?
When were you going to hook that up? You're like, Nick Foligno. And I'll just keep saying Nick Foligno. And then you tell us that.
I know.
There's connections to Nick Foligno in Newfoundland? Like, what?
As soon as I heard that, all I pictured was Nick Foligno scoring the Stanley Cup winner and doing the big jump up in the air with the old helmet that his father Mike had.
Yeah, I know. I just thought the same thing when you said it. I was like, oh, how perfect would it be to have another Foligno in blue and white?
Yeah. Anyways,
that's
sorry
sick.
for the side note.
No, that's so cool. That's awesome. Lucky.
So your boat, yes,
What about you? What are you saying, Chad? Jeez, Ryan.
For me, I'm a no buy.
No?
I'm a no buy only because I think Dubas, I wholeheartedly believe that Kyle Dubas thinks this year might be his best chance to win a Stanley Cup. And if you're the GM and you have a boatload of stuff that you can use at your disposal, use it. Right? And if that means that you got to trade a first round this year and a first round next year and a second round in 2023, and you got to trade off a couple prospects and you end up getting 2 defensemen and an elite level winger, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So that's my only hesitation, is that a trade is going to come down that he's going to go after someone off the charts. Like if Taylor Hall comes in, he's not landing in your bottom 6 East. He automatically replaces Galchenyuk.
Yeah.
Well, I'm of the mindset. See, I'd love to see Taylor Hall with Marner Matthews.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. Put Hyman back down on our zip. What was it they used to call it? The zip line. Zach, Ilya, and Pierre. And then we'll have Spezza, Simmons, Thornton as our 4th line, bruiser, veteran line.
Well, what I think the best
or Kerfoot can be there too.
While Hyman is incredibly effective on the 3rd line, I think it's much more important that we get the 2nd line going on a regular basis. And I think that he's the straw that stirs the drink there. I really think outside of Galchenyuk, he's the best fit that we've had there all year. 2 of those guys.
I love him. Up with Matthews and Marner, you mean? Like
with anybody. Hyman,
with anybody. He excels no matter where he is.
On the Leafs depth chart right now, I'm Matthews, Marner, Hyman. That's where I'm
literally.
I'm putting the captain below Zach Hyman currently. And I'm not saying
that's shows the value to the team, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to you, exactly. Yeah.
I don't like throwing out the word injured, but if you had to pick a player, if we had another game called Pick Your Poison, what would you choose?
It's a good idea.
A Tavares injury or a Zach Hyman injury?
Yeah, going into the playoffs.
Sorry, JT. Sorry.
And these are like that's gut wrenching stuff, so we don't want to think about it, and we don't want to put that negative energy into the world. So we're going to stop right here. But
don't even say
my point being is that Zach Hyman's importance to this team currently, in the playoffs, in the future,
unmeasurable,
is right there with Marner and Matthews. And there's 20 million Leafs fans, myself included, who can eat crow when they all said, "What is Babcock doing playing that plug in the top 6?" Because I was one of them. I was like, "Why is he playing with Matthews and Nylander? Who is Zach Hyman? Why is he there?"
Honestly, Babs is to thank.
40 goals, with
him on his side.
So he's done nothing but prove everybody wrong. And like I said, I'll admit when I'm wrong, and I didn't think he belonged there. I was like, what are you doing? Like, there's way better players. Like, put some good players up there.
Yeah.
But he's the straw that stirred the drink. So while I'm no Babcock fan, he was right on that one. 100% when everybody said he was wrong. So no, I mean, that's where I sit on the yes by no by anyway.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I can totally see your answer.
I think Dubas going to get his hands dirty here very soon, and there's going to be, I hope so anyway. See, I'm torn because I kind of hope so, but then another team, I'm like, oh, but I really like the team just like it is.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I think you need another piece.
Seen a thing the other day.
You definitely need a defenseman. That's not in question.
This guy the other day said that did you guys see that post? And he said how his insider sources tell him that one of the big four are going to move before the trade deadline. Like, really?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like literally, where do these people come up with it? And you know what? If it is, okay, let's throw this out here. It's kind of a twist to our game. Who would it be? If that was true, who would it be? It would obviously have to be Willie or JT.
Nylander. Well, it can't be Tavares because he's got no trade.
He has to know. But what if he was like, you know what? I'm getting old now. It was, I'm good to take a trade to I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even going here. I'm not even going to answer.
Let's pretend I didn't ask it because it's too
crazy.
Yeah.
Let's not even.
They all bring so much value to the team. So
100%. It's like when I see that post, I'm like, you're an idiot. That's all I can say. You're an idiot because for one, you thought about this and you made it up, and B, you put it out into the world for people to comment on. Like, you're an idiot. Yeah. Like, that's literally my thought. All right, what else you got for us, Ryan? It's getting late.
Yes by, no by. William Nylander. He's the prettiest player in the NHL to get COVID-19.
Oh, yes, by.
Yes, by.
Absolutely the prettiest. I'm just joking, guys. That is a yes by, no by, but it's absolutely true. He's the prettiest. Let me see. What else do I have here? Oh, most underrated defenseman on the Toronto Maple Leafs is TJ Brodie. Yes by, no by.
I'm going to say no by.
Underrated, yeah.
Because I think he's getting his kudos over the year.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's. Yeah, you know what? I don't think anybody's underrated here now. Actually, if there's someone, I think it's probably Dermott. Dermott's had a really strong season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gets all the credit. I think he got some. I don't know, it was tonight during intermission or last game. We were giving some feedback and everything, but I wasn't sure going into the season if he was even going to start in our top six. And like the Leafs have had the same top six. I don't know when the last time someone else was in that defensive core, like
Lettinen, like 25 games ago.
Yeah,
well, what my thought is though, like he's getting a lot of hate online. People are like, oh, Dermott on a goal or Dermott on whatever. It's just that's our whipping boy. Martin Marinson's not playing, so Leafs Nation will choose someone else, and that next whipping boy, I guess, unfortunately is Travis Dermott.
Because there was somebody the other day opinion. I was reading.
You can't do nothing
comments,
right or wrong, and they're gonna bitch, right? Go
which
ahead.
Is, by the way, a segment which we are going to get our shit together on someday.
Yes, we need to do that.
Reading out bad comments. Because there was somebody else the other day that said, well, I guess Morgan Riley is the next Jake Gardiner. And I closed my laptop. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? And this is the kind of fans that some of us are getting stereotyped in with.
Yes, that's what gives us a bad name. Because it's just like, I know, like, I'm the one who just said I'd rather Patrick Laine over Taylor Hall, but like that's an opinion.
Yeah.
and
I'm not putting that out there like that this is legitimate, like, truth. You know what I mean? It's but that's subjective, and that's quite possibly okay. I'm not even saying you're necessarily wrong. No, but
when you go out there and say that it's time to move on from Morgan Riley, I don't see anything there. I'm like, you don't see anything because you're not looking at the top 10 scoring among an NHL defenseman because he's right there.
There's no doubt the man makes mistakes, but they all do. No one's perfect, and the man plays except TJ Brodie. He is 100% shiny plastic perfect.
But this is but to that point, sorry to cut you off, but to the perfect point, you're right. Morgan Riley is not perfect, and I jokingly said TJ Brodie is perfect because he is in the defensive end. TJ Brodie's offensive numbers are not perfect. So what you lose on one side, you gain on the other, and I think people focus far too strongly. I know that defense, that's their name of their position, but
they focus on that. Yeah.
But that can't be the only thing you look at when you look at Morgan Riley. Because yes, tonight he was I don't know if it was a minus tonight. I think maybe he was certainly on the ice for one or two of them. But in any case,
he plays against the top players though.
Yeah, he quarterbacks our first power play unit, which I know is no bragging rights currently, but he also quarterbacked it when it was at 50% earlier this year.
If Tavares is not there, he was my captain. And you know what?
Oh, me too.
I even considered having him over Tavares. Largely due because of his age, and
I thought he should have had it over Tavares.
He could have, just because Tavares was just coming in. I'm fine with what he did.
Yeah,
because I think Tavares has had the ability of taking on that big role in a big hockey city, and not have him. I don't think it's impacted his game, but the Leafs have won. So the media are never bad in Toronto if you're winning.
Yeah, but actually seeing him tonight though, like seeing him with Dano getting feisty, and then it showed him bickering on the bench and like cat Colin. Did you hear that? Chirping, chirping. Yeah, cat Colin. Yeah, really though. Yeah, hey Dano, how you doing?
By the way, if I could whistle, I'd whistle for your toque that you're wearing. Well played.
But like just finally seeing that from him though, because that was my biggest complaint when, like, I know this is totally off topic with me, because I'm always off topic, but now I forget what I was going to say.
You got so far off topic that you lost.
Yeah, that I forgot what I was going to say.
That is a new low for you. She looks bewildered.
I'm not tired.
I don't even remember the question.
No, I don't either. I completely forget.
We broke away from that. I'll tell you what, we'll do one more yes by no by, and then I got a closing question for you both. And
all right, let's do it.
We'll shut her down. So yes by no by. Jack Campbell, our current number 1 starting goaltender, wins game number 11 consecutively on Saturday night against the Ottawa Senators. Yes by no by.
Yes by. Yeah,
and he
I
will
love
then
it.
sit an NHL record.
It's at 10 right now. So he just 10. Matched it.
Yeah, he's currently a record holder.
It was Price. Yes, I knew it was Price. Yeah. That's why I was hoping Price would have been in net tonight, because I was like, that is so sick.
Stick to him.
Right? Why wasn't he? Was he injured or something, or is it just because they're on a back-to-back because they are playing tomorrow night? Is he?
Got hurt.
They figure Allen's going back-to-back tomorrow night. He's playing again tomorrow night.
Wow.
You know what question I was afraid you were going to ask?
Okay,
we can do it. I can throw an audible right now and get your opinions. Hyman on the Olympic team.
Yes, by.
No, by.
No.
Not even close,
yes,
by. Jeff O'Neill needs his head checked by.
No, okay. You name someone, though. Like someone to play an actual third or fourth line role winger, digger in the corners, deep, dirty areas. Who else in Canada's better at it?
And they're going up against a very good American team. If best on best play.
You need someone he can kill penalties. He can, he's not afraid to block the puck. I'm telling you, yes, he doesn't score a lot of goals. He didn't score a lot of goals, but he does now.
Let me ask you this. Are you going to cut Matt Barzal from Team Canada and put Zach?
No, but I cut Mark Scheifele is now injured.
Yeah, but he's not going to be for the Olympics. My point
he's
being
concussed. He might never come back.
You're talking about, I mean, now listen.
Wheeler is.
I'm as big a Zach Hyman fan as the next guy. Okay. And he quietly has pumped in 19 goals again this season already. And we still have 15 games left. He's a perennial 20 goal scorer, or plug 20 goal scorer. Do you know how many teams would die for a 20 goal scorer who plays his style game?
Who's only 2.75 million.
And I'll go so far as to also say he makes Chris Kunitz, the Olympian, look like Chris Hunitz, because
they had Rob Zaminer.
Yeah, they've had some guys over the years that didn't make a lot of sense. But when I look at the talent level of young players in their early to mid 20s, and some of the names are left off of Team Canada because they're not having good years this year, like Taylor Hall, who is one of the best left wingers in the world on a good year.
Yeah. And
I say left winger Zach Hyman on team. I just can't, so much as I'm not saying he's not worthy of Team Canada Part B. Like he's in the conversation, or they wouldn't have brought this up. But I mean, that's a bit of a stretch for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a stretch too. That's why I was glad you didn't ask the question. But I'm like, there would be a lot of flack if he makes it, because you're right, like a lot of skilled players. But as you know, with Team Canada, they don't ice 12 forwards that are all top point producers. They actually form a team. So
right, and that's I feel like every time they put together these lists for who they think is going to be on the roster, it's just like they take the stats for the NHL and they just sort it by country, and they take the first 20 names that's there from Canada and said, this is our team. But it, like Paddy just said, they're actually going to construct a team. They need wingers, and they need, like I said, third line bruisers or fourth line bruisers that's going to go out and
Well, one way
beat
it
the
makes
shit
sense
out of
to
the other
me-
team.
One way it makes sense to me, and this is the only rationale, aside
Even
from
as
the
an
fact that
extra.
you're right, there is nobody else who plays his style of game currently in Canada that can produce at his level.
Gallagher is close.
Gallagher's close.
True.
He'll be there.
But when you talk about guys who can kill penalties effectively, there's nobody. I mean, he's a premier penalty killer in my opinion.
He's valuable in every different facet of what makes a hockey player a hockey player.
If you're looking at constructing a team and keeping special teams in the back of your mind and on the forefront, then that's a key component. But the one thing that stands out to me, when I think about the fact that I think Marner's a lock. Marner's a lock for the top line with McDavid.
Riley's a lock.
Like, would you take Hyman? Like, they had JT on that list. I would take Hyman over JT.
And you guys are about to prove my point here.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
I'm bad at cutting you off.
We're getting there. We all cut each other off. That's what we do. We all talk way too fast and we're way too excited.
The good thing is YouTube has an option to slow it down for any mainlanders who, if we talk too fast, just click that slow-mo button.
Or if you think we talk too fast, you can always go to hell. All right. I'm kidding, guys. We love you if you're listening. God love you. God love your cotton socks. There's a Newfie saying for you. So my point that I'm getting to here is we've got Marner, who's a lock, JT, who's not necessarily a lock, but he's certainly one of the front runners for the team. If by some majestic reasoning they decided they wanted to construct the San Jose line from a few years ago, remember when it was like Danny Heatley, Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau, something like that. Was something.
I mean, Paddy, and Marleau, I think,
that was a couple of Olympics ago, obviously, maybe 3. But my point being is that when you take a line off of a team and plop them onto Team Canada, it almost always has success because there's that chemistry is already there.
Anaheim did it with Getzlaf and Perry. Probably didn't have the third component, but
yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, no, because they had that was the Bobby Ryan line that year, and he wouldn't have made Team Canada because he was American. But yeah, no, and that's the only way I can see that the Hyman thing really making sense. Just like in the Kunitz Crosby era, they kind of brought Kunitz along because it was just such a natural fit, and he didn't look one bit out of place.
That works. Yeah, that actually that's a really good point, Ryan. I never thought about it like that.
So
they could literally take that line.
Yeah, they
the fact that this is actually a discussion, like, speaks to how good he's been. And I mean,
exactly
to your point earlier, Ryan, like, they don't bring this up on TSN just to be goofing off. Like, they brought that quiz question up last week, and I'm like, oh my god, I had never thought about that, but you'd have to consider him, especially if he has another good season next year. And
when do they pick the teams for that?
I think they would know by the fall, wouldn't they?
Training camp, the selections will be out in the fall. The preliminary camp, I think that they would do that, I guess
who they're inviting or
it's
whatever.
Really weird with COVID this year too, because that would be a summer.
Everything's
camp
different,
thing,
But they did. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they announce though that like the Winter Olympics is going ahead like 100%.
Yeah,
there's just no fans. They're having no fans, I think.
The fact that he could get an invite to camp, like that's
enough right
amazing.
there. Can you imagine if he did get invited, how damn hard he's going to work? He's making that team. Yeah. All he needs is the invite.
Yeah.
Mark my words. He will make that.
He can put it this way. If he gets an invite, I think he makes the team because he cannot screw it up.
That's exactly,
They know what they're getting when they invite these players. So the fact that they would want a guy like that on their roster, 100%. He's not screwing it up in training camp because he's going to work his butt off, harder than anyone, as you say. He's just not messing it up. So if you don't get the invite, of course, he's not going to make it. If he gets the invite, I think he makes it.
Yeah. Even if he's there as an extra and they just puts him there as the extra and then realizes, someone else is out because you're in, because he's going to outwork whoever you put him up there with.
Yeah.
I always wonder too, when these weird questions come out that are not that far removed from reality, I always wonder things like, I wonder, is Darren Dreger at TSN tweeting or texting back and forth now with Tom Rennie, and the conversation came up as to players off the board who would make an impact, and Zach Hyman's name came up, and then it became a thing, but it's off the record, so therefore we can't say Tom Rennie said his name because that's a great joke,
right?
And
but it came from somewhere.
Or the reverse, he's in a contract year, and his agent is tweeting or is texting Drager.
Yeah.
And they're looking to get him more money. I like to think it's the former because I think that's quite. I just don't think it was just a random question. There's something behind it.
Well,
I got a feeling he's definitely going to be.
The randomness of that question
contender.
is right up there with the randomness of the trade that Dubas is about to make, which leads me to what have I got? I had one question left. Oh yes, and I got nothing to do with trades. This is it. This is for all the marbles. I want to talk about records. We've been inundated with records. The theme of this show has been, in a sense, records, because we just witnessed one, and you don't get to witness records every day, unless, of course, you're a Leafs fan and you're
just deadly like
your
we are.
Fourth line center, who's at a half a point per game pace, just entered the top 100 scorers of all time, or your number one defenseman just entered the top 10 games played among Leafs defensemen in history, or your second line center just scored 150 points recently, or 850 points recently for his career, or your backup goaltender just matched the franchise record and the league record, or passed the franchise record and met the league record for consecutive wins from the beginning of the season. Hasn't lost one yet. So my question to you folks is, of said records, so I mentioned Spezza, I mentioned Riley, games played, I mentioned JT's 850 points, and I mentioned our lovely Jack Campbell. Which of those records is the most impressive to you, and why?
Campbell. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Spezza is obviously wonderful because he's Jason Spezza, but I mean, like you said, that's a top 100. 100 other people did that, and there's always going to be 100 of those people. What Jack Campbell did might never be done again. The last person to do it was the goalie, Carey Price. Like, because what we got here is something special. I'm telling you. Literally, since this has been going on the last month, you don't know how many Jack Campbell rookie cards me and my boyfriend has bought. Because he's going to, I swear to God. And you know what's crazy? When we first started looking at them on eBay, they were very low. The last week or so, Adam's like, we got to get more because we only got a couple, and we want to do like a little personal collection of Jack Campbell. Anyway, he's like, we got to get more. So I'm on looking at more. The prices within the last 2 weeks, guys, have doubled of what people are asking and what they're paying for his cards. His Young Gun card, especially. Yeah, because that's the one I've been eyeing. We don't have his. We've been collecting Young Guns, and that's the one I don't have.
I will do this. I will promise you this. I haven't bought a Young Guns card since Matthews, but when Jack Campbell's holding the Stanley Cup like this, I'll pony up.
You'll buy that card.
I'll pay for the card. All right.
I'm gonna be bankrupt if they win the cup.
Yeah. Listen.
We'll all be living in a box down by the river.
I can't wait. I can't wait to be up on like Dundas Square somewhere. Me and you and Ryan and whoever's going to be there for that freaking parade, buddy.
I was thinking
with our navy flag.
This is how weird us Leaf fans think sometimes. I was actually thinking the other night, because those moments you think that you're going to win the cup cross my mind like 100 times a day. And I'm thinking, okay, so I know right after the game, I've got to go in on NHL.com and their store, and I've got to buy a Leafs original Stanley Cup hat, and I've got to buy one to wear. I've got to buy one for my Leaf shrine here. I've got to buy one to get signed. I'm gonna spend $1,000 in just Leaf Stanley Cup hats. Never mind the T-shirts and everything else.
It's so funny that you said that. When the Leafs made the playoffs a few years ago, I think it was 2017 was the first one they made in a couple years, when they were finally getting good again with Matthews and Marner and everything. I remember they came out with the hats, of course, Stanley Cup playoffs on them. You think I didn't buy that so quick because I was like, this might be the only time they're in the playoffs in the next 10 years. Now, thankfully,
I bought a Willie Styles T-shirt because I think Nylander is cool.
I already have that shirt.
I know.
You're behind.
I know. But my point is, how much is it going to cost me if they win the cup? I'm right there with Paddy, man. I'm going to have to refinance the house.
Yeah.
Luckily, I know a person who works with the banks.
Yeah.
I'm calling some favors.
Please do.
I'm for Campbell. Campbell is the most impressive. Spezza, I just think he's amazing. Having an amazing year. He's done stuff for that fourth line that, my God, you couldn't dream of. It just so happens though he scored most of his points with other teams. It just so happened that he got into the 100 with the Leafs.
With the Leafs.
Tavares 800 and all that stuff. Like Campbell is just, it's truly a no-brainer.
For me,
it is.
For me, the Jack Campbell record is right there with Austin Matthews' 4 goals, and that's high praise.
Yeah, that's very,
because that's something I'll never forget. That even mentioning it, I got goosebumps on my arms. You can see them if you look really close. I mentioned Austin Matthews and 4 goals, and the hair stood up on my arms because it's still that real to me.
Yeah.
And seeing Jack tonight and had a player, how Marner reacted. I can't wait to watch this post-game presser, which I've missed, and I can't wait to watch it. I'm gonna watch it right away.
Yeah, go watch it. It was awesome.
I am so proud and impressed of and legitimately happy for him. Like I'm happy for him. Like I'm happy for him. Like a friend of mine who has a healthy baby.
Oh, like literally,
happy for him.
I know you guys won't judge me by saying, like, and I say it to Adam all the time, like, I genuinely care about those people. Like I do. And I not just because they're my team, but like you grow to know about them and their story. And then you get almost like attached to them, and
they're a very likable team.
They are. And there's always usually that one that you're not sure of, or you're like, I wonder, I don't know. I just feel like there's not, like you said earlier, Patty, there's not one person I don't think in that dressing room that would be cancer or that's a Debbie Downer. It's just right now, I feel like we got something really, really special.
Yeah. And Sheldon Keefe, I just think just because of his age and all that is just a perfect fit. And I know I'm saying that is biased now because they're doing so well, but with Mel Hotra there being a former, like, real good hockey player,
we literally have.
Ron said earlier, like if they don't make a change at the deadline, I'm not going to be super disappointed. I think they will.
Me neither. I won't be upset.
I don't think they can win it with what they got there. I think they need another major piece, not major, but 5-6 defensemen or.
Everybody else is going to add. Everybody else is going to add. So we're going to add too. Just how
something's
much
going to
are we
happen.
gonna add? So
just I think it all depends on what actually is going on with Freddie. But it worries me because they're being so hush-hush about it. And because the man's not even practicing, he hasn't been on ice in 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
That's what scares me. And that's what makes me feel like if he's going to do anything, depending on what's wrong with Freddie, he's going to make a move for another goalie because he expects Freddie to walk or like let him go, right? Or he might trade Freddie for a package with another better goal, like not as good goalie as Freddie, for a backup to Campbell and maybe a little defenseman or something, or a winger. I don't know.
I could see anything happening.
Who knows? And then make it, I don't know, maybe you're a pick with it. And then there's, I don't know. There's a lot of things, but something's going to happen. But it definitely helps that Campbell's playing so well and that Galchenyuk's playing so well. It definitely helps Dubas not feel so urgent to make a move, I guess. And at least that's how I feel.
Yeah.
All right. Let's shut her down. What do you think?
Let's go. Yeah, I'm starting to blabber.
Yeah, one last thing. Since we have our average Joe on, we're going to let him close the show. Patty, I want you to promise me that when they win the cup and we go to the party, you're going to wear your Wendell Clark watch.
Oh, my Wendell Clark watch. Yeah. It's actually right there.
Show it. Tell the story.
Okay,
that's how we're going to close this down.
I got a show to watch. I've got a lot of cool things in this.
You got some cool stuff.
Leaf shrine. I'm going to show 2 things actually.
Show whatever you like.
Really like this. A Wendell Clark new and packaged watch from the probably late 80s. I had this watch as a kid, and like many things, you lose things, and I found it on eBay.
Value.
Found it on eBay like for $12 like 10 years ago. So of all the things that are in this basement, the only other thing, and I got to go to the other room. So you'll see this jersey here with Cody.
Right. Yeah.
Cody on the jersey. So that's my cousin Cody, who passed away, who Kylie was a good friend of.
Yep, I know Cody.
I had got his jersey when he passed away and got that crest put on. So that's in the center of the basement when I'm watching games. So
I had no idea you had that, Patty.
Yeah. So Kessel's on the back. So that's pretty cool. I'll be hosting, and I'll put this out now, a big Leafs party in this shrine when it happens.
I can't wait.
I'll probably come if I can.
This guy's my most prized possession.
I don't want anybody here for the Stanley Cup the finals game when they could win it.
I'll be no good for that anyway. I don't even know. I've even said to Leslie, like, I mean, I cried when the Marlies won the friggin' Calder Cup 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I said to Leslie, I said, I don't want anybody witnessing what I'm going to go through if they win the Stanley Cup.
I don't think my heart can handle that. The anxiety of 7 or 8, whatever it is, rounds of playoffs. And it's just like, oh God, if it happens, guys, you will hear me from your house in North America.
Well, guys, my prized possession from my Leafs fandom is you guys. Thanks so much for coming on the show, doing this, sharing this friendship and fandom and craziness that we go through. And if we never win a cup, well, we'll at least have the friends to show for it at the end, I guess, and then some memories. So there's that. For all you other guys out there, you maybe friends down the road, we're hoping to get some of you guys on the show as well. This is our first Average Joe episode, and there'll be lots more. But if you like what you heard, again, give us a like on Facebook, give us a like on YouTube, share a post. You never know. Maybe we'll pick up another like or a listen somewhere along the way. But of course, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube as well. You'll see that to Kylie's, that way right there, right above Paddy's head. There's a little thingy. Click on that. You'll hit the subscribe button for YouTube. Again, you can get us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. Anywhere you listen to the podcast, basically, deeksnipeselly.ca, as well as on Facebook /deeksnipeselly. So if there's nothing else, guys, we'll shut her down.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks
for coming, Paddy. Hopefully have you again.
Oh, for sure.